Hi everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder. We're about to dive into 3D Systems' latest report, and let's just say someone's stepping up to the CFO role, but not in the way you might expect. Will this shake things up, or is it just business as usual? Let's find out. Before we jump in, if you love breaking down confusing corporate filings into simple, understandable insights, smash that subscribe button. And for more real-time discussions and to connect with fellow investors, join our Discord channel linked right below in the description. Alright, so what we've got here is a Form 8K filing from 3D Systems Corporation. Think of an 8K as a current report that companies file when something significant happens, something the public needs to know about right away. The date this report is officially filed is August 20, 2025, and that's also the earliest date mentioned for the events happening in this filing. This is all about 3D Systems, a company that's been around for a while, known for its 3D printing technology. Now for the nitty-gritty on what's actually happening. The company's main publicly traded item is its common stock, which trades under the symbol DDD on the New York Stock Exchange. That's the stock most people will be watching. The headline here is about changes in the company's leadership, specifically in the finance departments. It's like a key player on the team is moving to a new position and someone else is stepping in, at least for now. So as of August 20, 2025, 3D Systems announced that Phyllis Nordstrom, who is currently in charge of all things people and administration, is also going to become the Interim Chief Financial Officer, or CFO. This means she'll be the main person responsible for the company's money matters and reporting. She'll officially take on this extra role starting August 29th. This is pretty interesting. She's not just switching hats, she's adding a really big one to her collection, keeping her current high-level jobs as well. Usually when someone takes on the CFO role, especially on an interim basis, it's a full-time commitment. Doing it on top of her existing responsibilities suggests either the company is really in a pinch for a CFO immediately, or they see her as capable of juggling a lot. She's taking over from Jeffrey Creech, who is leaving to pursue a new opportunity. This isn't a surprise departure as it was announced earlier. Companies often have smooth transitions when key people leave, but the fact it's an interim CFO suggests they might be looking for a more permanent solution. Let's look at Ms. Nordstrom's background. She's 46 and has been with 3D Systems since August 2021, initially as Executive Vice President in charge of Human Resources or the Chief People Officer, and also Chief Compliance Officer. Then in December 2022, she added Chief Administrative Officer to her titles. This shows us she's got significant leadership experience within the company, overseeing crucial operational and compliance areas. Before joining 3D Systems, she spent a good chunk of time at MTS Systems Corporation. There, she was a Senior Vice President and held titles related to risk and compliance. This means her expertise is heavily in making sure companies follow the rules, manage risks, and operate ethically. These are vital skills, but they're not the typical experience you usually see for a CFO, whose background more often involves deep financial analysis and direct P&L responsibility. Her 25-year career is quite extensive, with stints at big names like PricewaterhouseCoopers, which is a major accounting firm, Target, and US Bank. This shows a broad range of experience in the corporate world, touching on finance, operations, and risk management. Now here's a crucial detail. The company hasn't decided yet if Ms. Nordstrom's pay will change because of this new role. They've stated they will file an update if and when any compensation changes are made. This is pretty common when an interim role is appointed, but it's something to keep an eye on. This section, item 701, basically tells us that the company also issued a press release about this announcement. Regulation FD, or fair disclosure, is a rule that stops companies from sharing important information with only a few people. So when they make a big announcement, they usually do it through a press release that everyone can see. Yep, it just confirms that the press release from August 20th is the official announcement to the public about Ms. Nordstrom's interim CFO role. This means that if you want to read the exact press release, it's included as an exhibit in this filing with the number 99.1. Incorporated herein by reference is just a way of saying it's officially part of this report. This is a bit of legal jargon. It's telling everyone that this specific part of the report, the press release, is considered furnished, not filed. This means the company isn't taking on as much legal responsibility for the content of that press release, especially if it were to contain forward-looking statements that don't quite pan out. It's a CYA, cover your backside statement for the company. Finally, we get to the exhibits. This is where they list all the supporting documents for the report. As we saw, Exhibit 99.1 is that press release announcing Ms. Nordstrom's appointment. And Exhibit 104 is the cover page interactive data file. This is actually a file format that makes the information in SEC filings more machine readable and easier to analyze for things like financial data. It helps crunch numbers faster for investors and analysts. And here's the signature block, making it official. The report is signed by Jeffrey A. Graves, who is the president and CEO of 3D Systems. This shows that the highest level of management is aware of and endorsing this change. So what's the real story here? 3D Systems is in a bit of a transition phase with its chief financial officer. They brought in Phyllis Nordstrom, who has a strong background in HR, compliance and administration, to fill the interim CFO role. While her experience is valuable for strong governance and operational oversight, it's not the typical deep financial expertise inception physio we're going to be going through expertise you'd expect from a CFO. This raises a few questions for me. Is the company facing immediate financial reporting challenges that require someone with a strong grasp of compliance and risk right now? Or are they looking to potentially bridge the gap with someone who understands the broader business perhaps better than a pure finance person might? The fact that she's keeping her other roles signals a potential strain on resources or a belief that she can manage it all. However, the lack of immediate compensation adjustment is also something to watch. If the role truly involves more responsibility and requires more of her time, a pay bump is usually in order to reflect that. The company's overall direction in 3D printing is interesting. They're in a growing but competitive market. Having strong financial leadership is crucial for navigating R&D investments, market expansion, and potential acquisitions. While Ms. Nordstrom's background might provide a unique perspective, the market will likely be looking for clarity on the long-term CFO strategy. The company's ability to innovate and manage its finances effectively will be key to its success. We didn't see any explicit financial tables in this particular 8K filing, which is common for these current report types of filings that focus on specific events like leadership changes. Typically, detailed financial statements would be found in quarterly 10Q or annual 10K reports. Looking at this from a Warren Buffett perspective, you want to see management that is honest, competent, and aligned with shareholders. Nordstrom's background suggests competence, but the alignment with shareholders on the financial front will depend on how effectively she manages the company's resources and how the company performs under her interim leadership. The risk here is if the financial department's core functions are not adequately covered by someone whose primary expertise isn't in deep financial analysis and strategy. In conclusion, 3D Systems is making a significant internal move. The appointment of an interim CFO from a non-traditional background is noteworthy. Management's focus on compliance and stability might be what they deem most important right now. However, investors will be keeping a close eye on how this interim arrangement plays out and whether they bring in a CFO with a more conventional financial background in the long run. Alright, that's our breakdown of 3D Systems' latest filing. What's your take on these leadership changes and what they signal for the company's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps push this content to more people, and subscribe for more deep dives into corporate filings. Don't forget to check out the Discord server in the description for more discussions. Thanks for watching and see you next time.